Welcome back. The fight for survival continues for beautician Melia Smith-Roll. Tens of thousands of dollars have been raised to assist her in her medical journey as she has been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. But thanks to the residents throughout the Bahamas who have donated towards this cause, she's now well on her way to getting the medical treatment that could possibly save her life. Nearly $40,000 has been raised to help save the life of Melia Smith-Roll. You may recall last week, ZNS Northern Edition aired the story of the wife and mother who pleaded with the community to assist her in raising $15,000 for her surgery as she has been diagnosed with leiomyosarcoma. Melia says she never imagined that people from all over the Bahamas would have contacted her and donated to her fund. She says it brought one thing to mind, and that's the national anthem.
Unity. I say, God, I say, our words are so strong with the national anthem, you know, and I prove that.
With the funds raised, she has enough to get her surgery and treatment, but she will not go to Cuba.
What we decided to do is get me into Nassau. And with Nassau, getting into Nassau, the doctors came together and they said that they're going to see me and try and work on getting this out, or even if they have to take out piece of it, piece by piece, I don't know, but that's what I understand.
Still visibly in pain, Melia admits that the love and support from the community has left her overwhelmed.
Get your life in order, don't give up on God, He's awesome. Because I did not expect this. I did not expect this, oh God, just read on me.
One day after Melia's story was aired, her GoFundMe account went from $1,500 to $7,000 with thousands of shares on Facebook. But it was a concerted effort to pull this off from the Grand Bahama community. From the media to media personalities like Cindy Patrice Daxon to Darren Cooper, who picked up the story, the money came pouring in. Cooper said he was going to raise at least $13,000 in a few days, and he did just that.
At the conclusion of this, which will be today, all of these receipts, along with the deposit slips deposited made to the First Caribbean, will be turned over to the Future and Turnquest, who will then verify our information and will have it recorded just to make sure that we say what we did and we did what we were supposed to do.
Pastor Barry Morris held a concert in the yard for Melia on Sunday with the Cooling Waters and gave a donation. He also prayed with her as her journey began.
Certainly, I'm so glad that we were able to impact in such a way, share prayers, words of faith, and let her know that God is with her even in the midst of this sickness.
The journey was then on to the airport on Western Air for Melia to go to Nassau. Her caretaker, who is also her sister Tizelle, has also worked to organize funds, and she became emotional as she saw her sister off.
To see her in this state is heartbreaking. But I know there's a God, and my God does not sleep nor slumber.
Her mother-in-law also adding that Melia's life is a testimony.
God said to her that He is going to use her in a great and mighty way. But we don't know how God is going to use this. If this her platform, to God be all the glory.
We understand that a team of about 20 doctors will take on and look at Melia's rare cancer, and as soon as she lands, she will go straight to Doctors Hospital to begin the process. She leaves these words with the community.
So at this point, if I die, I am content. I am totally content because I'm grateful. I'm so grateful because I didn't expect this. It didn't have to work out like this. You know, my breath could have been taken from me. I pace every night. I don't sleep. Every night I move from chair to bed, from bed to floor. I kneel down. I call on God. All I can do is call on God. I say, God, oh, help me.
Certainly the power of the community. Now to news from Parliament. The Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, the Honorable Aaron Lewis, wrapping up his budget contribution in Parliament this afternoon. Jay Philippe has more.
The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture and Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, the Honourable R.M. Lewis, making his budget contribution in the House of Assembly. Lewis noting that the 2021-2022 budget of $19,358,000 will help in achieving the government's mandate and implementation of all programs, projects and activities on behalf of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture communities. Major sporting facilities such as the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium, the National Boxing Centre, the Grand Bahama Sports Complex and the Sir Kendall G. Eliasek Gymnasium are expected to see significant upgrades in the near future.
Management is eager to further effect and complete much needed repairs to the KGLI gym, which is usually a major revenue source for the NSA. Furthermore, the gym must be in optimum form to attract more NCAA and other professional sporting events.
The 2020 Boxing Day and 2021 New Year's Day Junction parades were postponed because of COVID-19. However, the minister says that he hopes that this year's parades will take place.
We all know that circumstances did not permit our usual grand celebration last year, but I'm most hopeful, this is what I'm saying to the Jungle Group, I'm most hopeful that conditions will allow the free expression of this year, our most important cultural events come Boxing Day 2021 and New Year's Day 2022. We await guidance from the health officials on this matter.
Lewis, who was also Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, acknowledging some of the government's achievements on Grand Bahama, highlighting the significant historical purchase of the Grand Bahama International Airport, the deal that was signed and sealed by the Bahamas government on April 29th of this year.
The Bahamas government purchased the major port of entry into Grand Bahama. No longer is the port of entry owned by foreigners. The people of Grand Bahama now own, and the Bahamas own the port of entry. And the fact that we spent $1 million to cover salary for Bahamians, Grand Bahamians.
Lewis adding that the renovations of the Rand Memorial Hospital on Grand Bahama have been a major accomplishment for the government as well.
New Orleans is below sea level.
Below sea level.
Georgetown, Guyana is below sea level. So what we have to do? Adjust the architecture to suit. In fact, over 80% of the Bahamas landmass is within 5 feet of the mean sea level. So what we have to do? Make an adjustment. Yes, Dorian exposed our weaknesses. We just now have to strengthen it.
Under the disaster reconstruction project since Hurricane Dorian, major cleanup campaigns have been undertaken in Central Grand Bahama and throughout other areas on island.
Last summer, we had a major community cleanup efforts to remove hurricane debris, and every polling division was included in this major project, which included government, Port Authority and private subdivision, and again we clean up from east to west. And I want to thank this government for providing the funds for us to do so.
Minister Lewis says a lot more work is set to be done on Grand Bahama to help residents to return to their normal lifestyle, and he thanked the government and the people of Grand Bahama for their support. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Jay. Well, it is a book written based on personal experiences, and ahead of this Father's Day, the author says he hopes it will start a conversation to encourage hope and healing to those who do not know what it means to have a father present in their lives or their homes. Jamila Mizik reports.
Senior pastor of Central Zion Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Elvis Burrows, is the author of a new book titled Our Lives Without Him, Daddy Please Don't Go. He says the book details the struggles of children growing up in homes where the father is absent. Burrows says he began working on the book years ago, but it was during the pandemic when he was finally able to complete the book.
In 6 months, I was able to finish the book, but as a matter of fact, I had most of the research done, and so it was just a matter of now compiling the chapters and having it edited and printed. But it's a work I started more than 10 years ago.
Reverend Burrows says the book was written from his professional and personal experience because he never knew his father. He notes that the book prescribes how to find hope and healing from dealing with the trauma of not having a father present as a child.
This book addresses what happens when the child grew up in a home where there was no father, how that child fared through life. And I am one who understands, one who has lived that experience. So I'm not talking about something I've read in a book or somebody else's testimony. I grew up in a home where the father was missing. And now that I'm an adult, I understand to some degree what children feel, what children go through, what they are experiencing. And so I wrote this book first and foremost from my personal experience, having experienced that, but also from my professional experience.
Burroughs says he thought it important for the book to be written in a positive tone rather than a negative light. And he says he hopes that it helps start a conversation and change the narrative about these type of situations.
As a pastor and a counselor, I encounter children every day, adults, who live through that experience, but are now struggling. But for many of them, they never talk about it. It has been a silent thing over the years. And I can say that for me also, it was years before I was comfortable talking about it. When a father absents himself from the home, that home is left in a state of chaos, in a state of disequilibrium. It affects the family dynamics in the home, and the children just really don't know what to do. And so the book addresses that aspect of it, but it also encourages fathers to stay connected.
Now there will be an official book launch on Sunday, June 13th at 5 p.m. at Freeport Bible Church. However, the book can be found on Amazon, Precious Acres on Queens Highway, Central Zion Baptist Church, and other local bookstores. Jamila Missick, ZNS Network News.
And now it's time for a check on sports.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. A Grand Beaming female athlete recently returned home from international competition. It was her first go-around. Her future looks bright. New to the sport, Denise Menace recently competed in the NPC National Qualifier Bodybuilding Bikini Classic Fitness Figure, Physique and Wellness Competition in Boca Raton, Florida.
Came to the gym, started working out, just wanted to be fit like about 2 years ago. And I was approached multiple times about competing. In January, I was approached again, and I just decided I would just take on the challenge.
According to Menace, the judges were impressed with her stage presence and natural physical genetics.
Got lots of positive feedback from coaches and also the judges with regards to what I need to work on and what I'm doing good so far. So it was a really, really rewarding experience.
It wasn't easy. She had to change her diet while training 6 days a week in preparation for competition.
I had to also do posing practice in preparation for presenting myself on the stage, and that was like a workout in itself. So in addition to the 1.5 hours I was training in the afternoons.
Menace is now looking forward to future competitions.
We looked at some things that we're going to work on and how we're going to strategize getting ready in the next couple of months. Definitely something I'm going to do again.
Switching gears now in local basketball, the Heights basketball program had an open basketball showcase at the Mount Macphy Park this past weekend. The winner of the boys 11-12 layup and ball handling contest was Randy Miller. Winning the 15-16 category was Marvin Culmer. In the boys 15-16 3-point competition, Julian Petty-Dose was crowned the winner. Winning the open girls layup and 3-point competition was Odisha Jones. Jane Parker and Takith Rahana was two of the top performers in the open girls group. Samson Villian walked away on top in the boys 13-14 3-point and ball handling competition, and the winner of the 9-10 boys layup and 3-point competition was Irvin Carey. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.